you know, it's still fine to go
There
that
he is.
regardless.
Did the staff behind him like poke him in the head? Like, you're on camera. Smack him in the back of the head, like, start dancing, Fox. That's kind of what happened. I don't know. So BNK, they have the right of first selection here, obviously, with being the higher seed, waiting here in playoffs, and they're going to choose first pick. So no big surprises just yet.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well is the fact that Jace got completely gutted out of the jungle does mean that I expect he won't be banned. We did see him nerfed, and then he was still banned, but I think now I expect him not to be banned at all, so we'll see how that goes. BNK FearX banning Nico, they did this a lot in the last series they played. The Cassante as well, these are very targeted bans, getting rid of the Nico that Peter's been so good on, and obviously we all know about Dusante, whereas the DN Supers just seeing kind of standard bans here. The Varus did get nerfs to his AP build and a bit of armor, but you know, Poke Varus still pretty much the same. It was only AP ratios on his W that got nerfed in terms of his damage.
So BNK has realized that it is the year of Dudu, in fact, and not the year of Vikla. So they've banned away 2 of Dudu's champions already. Notably, what we were just talking about, Azir and Orianna are up, and they pick Azir.
Yep, so they're going to go for the trade. Honestly, if you're going to let it go through, just let it go through game 1, and then at least it's gone for the rest of the series. You know, it is a best of 5, and they do secure the Orianna Nocturne. You know, this was something that the DN, well, last year when they were the DN Freaks, they played heavily. And even though they didn't get many game wins on it, they were pretty clean at pulling off the combo. Obviously, that was when they had Bulldog and not Closer. But it's clearly something that Pioshik has a lot of experience playing with. Yes, it didn't lead them to game wins, but let's be honest, they weren't getting many game wins in general. They were having some success there overall. This is what I'm concerned about, though. Jarvan, Azir into Orianna is not fun to play, especially when your defensives have already been nerfed.
Wow.
A Bard too. If you're playing in a mobile mid laner, you're just going to be crucified by this. I think for the DN Supers, securing a more mobile AD carry is probably going to be important. Corki, potentially an option here that we could you'd often see picked up on this third pick. Actually going for the Yunara instead, so does have a dash, but you have to use your ultimate to get it. And also shorter range compared to the Corki, who can kind of just operate a distance with rockets that move in a little bit later. I feel like, you know, Yunara needs to be up close and personal a lot more, so...
Yeah. At least you get a hyper carry with Orianna, which means that you're going to have a good front line. You got a shields. Obviously, the support will come in, and hopefully you can ban out the bottom lane as much as possible. Lulu taken away. Corki will not be facing Yunara this time.
Yeah, I think it's a good ban coming out from DN Supers. Corki priorities being pretty high throughout the tournament. And the Lulu as well, especially following up on the Nocturne, going in, a lot of value. Do you see a Renekton ban come through? It is first pick was for BNK FearX, so they're going to have to end up blinding something in this situation. And I do feel like there's a lot of picks that you can just punish Renekton with, but obviously not want to deal with clear on that one. And now we will see final ban here for BNK FearX.
You'd imagine it goes support. There it is, the Nautilus. Yunara, Nautilus, definitely a decent lane, but it's not another Enchanter.
Yeah, interesting, because I feel like Nautilus into this comp is a bit uncomfortable. Into Jarvan in particular, the Cataclysm really disrupts what you're trying to do. A lot of terrain there.
Oh.
The Ambessa comes through, kind of adds some context for the Renekton ban, but this is kind of weird to me because the Bard was already open and available. You could have just picked support here and left the top lane pick for counter pick at the end. Clearly the thought process was like, we really want Ambessa, you know, we have the Renekton gone, we have the Gwen gone, which, you know, we see a lot of people pick into the Ambessa. We really want to secure it here, but it does give the opportunity for Clear to pick something into it that's going to give it a hard time.
There's a lot of laughing and discussion over there, thinking about the Aurora, and that is going to be locked in against the Ambessa. This
is kind of the concern, is that you've ended up giving, like, your top laner a situation where he's playing into a ranged top, which just isn't going to be a fun time. You didn't have to do this. DN Supers could have saved their top pick until last. And Clear is a player who does play, you know, we think about his Kennen. He is definitely someone who is proficient on those ranged tops and will punish the matchup. Now, Ezreal, I think, makes a lot of sense. Has that safety element. Did get some buffs on this patch as well, but pairing up with a Bard, Bard can roam freely. And I feel like for BNK FearX, all 3 of the carries, not only do they have 3 carries, so if you do take one down with a combo, you know, you have other carries available, but they're also just slippery, right? They all have dashes available. They all have ways to disengage from the situation. If you mess up the combo, the timing's a bit off, they can actually pull away from it. And in the end, DN Supers go for Rakan, which does help layer the CC with the engage combo, but you're not going to have a great time in lane. Like, this is a winning bot lane for Diablo and Kellen.
Yeah.
Top lane matchup as well, really punishing. And we often talk about the importance of side lane priority. Well, BNK FearX have that. They have that in the bag. So I think a good first draft for BNK FearX here. I think they got really everything they're looking for. And on the side of DN Supers, there's a lot of team fighting power, right? If they get that combo off, they have a Yunara who's obviously very strong, and there's a lot of engage. But the main thing is getting to the mid game without being in a deficit, and then landing their engage consistently, because if they mess it up even just once, the game could just be lost to them.
Yeah, I think if the game goes even into the mid game, like, DNS definitely have a shot here for sure. Like, they have fantastic ways to set up picks with the Orianna Nocturne. You've got the Ambessa follow-up, and then you have a hyper carry. But I'm with you. I think that BNK, they just have a lot of tools, and they have scaling throughout all the different parts of the game with 3 carries, 3 damage sources, and they should be winning the lanes. Feeling pretty good for BNK here in this first one as we're getting ready to jump onto the rim for game number 1. Alrighty, game number 1 of the upper brackets, round 1, match 1 here at the playoffs. And yeah, BNK definitely the favorite.
Oh,
all
wait.
14 votes going.
Jabal skilled his W level 1. I assume that's a misclick. That's really bad. That's really bad.
Not what you want to see.
That's actually lane losing. Not having Q level 1 and then level 2 not having Arcane Shift as well. So
What if he just doesn't tell them?
I mean, they're gonna be like, why is he not pressing Q? This guy is just, he's psyching me out.
Play like Blitzcrank, you know, just kind of walk at them and threaten a Q. Like right here, he's like, oh, I'm going to Q you.
Yeah, they're respecting it, but, you know, you'd be getting so much more poke down if you just had a Mystic shot in this situation.
Yeah. Well, he's going to hit level 2 shortly, so, okay.
Oh,
well,
no, he's W'd, and they're like, what is this guy doing?
I love the Jonas Strong zooming, too. It's like, yeah, well,
the even worse thing is that
2.
W just feels so bad because you have nothing to proc it with, right? Other than just an auto.
Yeah.
So it just feels so underwhelming.
Well, Diablo not starting off with the most comfort.
Yeah, you can see from that situation, right? It didn't end up, like they didn't lose lane on the back of that, but they don't punish lane as much as they should. We talked about how this bot Ezreal should be really applying the pressure. They didn't do much level 1, and level 2, Diablo still has to play so far back because he doesn't have his Arcane Shift. So it's not so much about they're dying or losing or, you know, getting chunked out themselves. It's more they can't enact the pressure they should have because of this mistake.
Yeah. You see that Yunara's on a 6-game winning streak. A couple of guys from play-ins getting wins, Ju and Taeyun specifically.
She actually
also Pazed and Ruler, I think, on that list.
She had a really poor win rate coming out of the group stage, but she's had a massive resurgence. I think one factor as well is that her item got buffed, the Fiend Hunter bolts, which she was going second, but also I just think teams getting better at understanding how to set up for her. Has it's made a big difference, and also playing lanes out better.
Uh-oh. Duck Dom having to barrier early, and Flash as well. Heal comes out just to stabilize the lane, but now, you know, he's going to have to back. He doesn't have summoners. This is not a good time for Duck Dom.
Well, Diablo finally got all of his abilities that he wanted, and that's how the lane goes. So, Duck Dom immediately pummeled on the lane, just pick up the coal on the reset. Kellen just going for a roam here, and will force Yoshik not to get his reset off, so nice timing. Peter was trying to hold the wave, I think. always a dangerous game. The amount of times, you know, the two things that are most lethal to supports, control wards, right? When you see one, you're trying to clear it,
Yeah.
4 autos, and you have no attack speed, and trying to hold the wave. The amount of times we've seen supports die for that. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think Peter got himself in trouble during play-ins, if I'm not mistaken. I think he kind of like face-checked the bottom brush from blue side and got himself
on Nautilus, I think it was, yeah.
Nautilus. Vickless being chased down here. Closer not going to go for any kind of kill move, but
yeah,
it's pushing him out, and he's up a level.
Closer went phase rush still, so despite the nerfs, still opting saying I need that mobility, I need that value, which, you know, I think into this comp you can understand it, but it was a pretty hefty nerf, so definitely doesn't feel fantastic.
Yeah, this is kind of handshaking the nerf, you know? Not looking for a different option, just saying, well, I guess I'm just nerfed.
Yeah.
And phase rush is just so good on champs like Orianna, like Ryze, where you're trading a lot, you can proc it very easily.
Yeah, I think as well,
and movement speed is OP, so.
Champions who already have some movement speed built in and then are sort of like amplified by it, you know, Ryze when he sort of procs his runes, and Orianna with the dissonance getting a good amount. Yeah, you know, we'll see if we have a moment where phase rush is procced and then Closer's running to try and escape something, and it just, like a bottle, just clips him. I'm like, oh, that was the nerf. There you go.
Or the Azir gets in range, or the Jarvan gets in range, or the Aurora gets in range. It's not a fun time for an Orianna from behind in this game.
Yeah, it definitely feels like keeping the carries alive for DNS are like, we're going in, right? And we hope our engage works, because if we don't really have any options to protect our carries in reverse. It's like our engage works or go next, you know? That's the game plan.
Yeah, throw him a shield and say goodbye because he's dead to everything. And generally, we used to see, I think it was Gen G would play a lot of Orianna Bard, or maybe it was T1. They would set it up and, you know, you just drop a Bard ultimate down, and then it's easy setup for the Orianna to land an ult. And obviously they're on the opposite sides now, so you can use it to negate the Orianna ult as clear. Maybe in a rough spot here, but he is Aurora. Definitely not winning this lane as hard as we expected. Yeah,
Dudu doing a pretty good job of sort of mitigating the pressure of playing into a range top. Never a fun time, but doing fine in terms of farm. Actually, he can probably... Never mind. I was going to say he can get a plate.
A little engaged, but actually the stun goes down on a Duck Top. And remember, he only has barrier now. And the heal comes out from Kellen in the trade, but Duck Top now low. And with no flash, he's got to play it safely as Dudu. There's no TP on this Aurora, so he's just kind of having a fun time up there.
Clear had to reset. Piochik's 6 just came in, so it was in a dangerous spot. And I think this is a great thing for DNS. We talked about the bottom top lane potentially being pain points, but Dudu having a good matchup here, getting a couple of plates in is phenomenal so far. Clear does have to be a bit careful.
Looks like he's trying to bait something with Raptor coming up, but instead he just takes a giant chunk. At least he didn't use his TP right before that.
Yeah. I think if he overstepped any more, though, there's always just that concern that you just get blown up by the Nocturne. But yeah, Raptor there to cover. And so far, not a super eventful game. As you can see from Peter, just, you know, Wing Vikla and nothing coming from it.
Just kind of hanging out. You know, BNK were able to get the first Drake because bottom lane is winning so hard. And Jarvan's pretty good at taking that down. So a good start for them, at least on the objectives. The gold's still very even with no kills and no big lane leads, or at least canceling out lane leads. As Diablo's ahead, but also Dudu's ahead. We know about Dusante. Do we know about Dubessa yet? As the combo comes in and Vikla's just dead. I mean, he's going to go down to 1 auto from Closer as now the combo comes in for Raptor, but he gets out because, well, he's Rakan. And he's able to dash just out of there. First blood goes to DNS.
Feels so good for DNS because not only do you get the kill yourselves, but you keep Peter alive after burning the Cataclysm from Raptor. So that big tool goes on cooldown. You know, Closer still has his flash up and available. So, you know, we talked about the Orianna often being that focus point for teams when you have like an Azir, Jarvan. Well, both the ults are now down, and you got this kill. You know, the flash here from Piochik to block the dash from the Azir, and then We see Peter get stunned, but he had his Q heal already procced. That came in to keep him alive, so pretty well played there. Nice early pick and the sort of momentum that we want to see from this composition for DNS.
Yeah, it's very important for them getting that kill onto the Orianna. And now, once again, a trade of ult comes in. This time, looks like Clear's doing a little bit better in the trading department, but still not winning. So still not very much enjoying that. And it does feel like BNK, you know, with Vikla losing his flash as well, he's kind of in an awkward spot in mid now with the Orianna very far ahead. Might have a lot of money on Diablo trying to carry this one.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yep. And he's playing Ezreal, so he's probably going to enjoy this game quite a lot. As we do have Raptor down on the bottom side, but he doesn't have that Cataclysm.
Yeah, and the wave is too small now, and Peter just hit 6, so not really a dive they can go for. So Yoshi just gets grubs for free in this situation. And I think DNS getting a lot from this early game. They're trying to sort of extend this, but
yeah, I mean, with their grubs fully taken and kind of shown, they know that the Nocturne is on the top side of the map, so certainly trying to force this here. They're going to take the turret down and just go in on a Duckdom, but he's got his flash back as Raptor going in, trying to get those last autos down. The Q is blocked by Peter, and now Raptor, oh, the flash in, but he's still going to go down, and that is so tilting for them. Peter does pick up the kill, but it's huge for DNS.
So overforced there from BNK FearX. It was obviously extremely...
You're on a ward, buddy.
Yeah, don't...
You're on a ward, buddy. He's trying to make the big play, but this might be the second time that on a ward. Oh, it doesn't look like much is going to happen.
You know, this is also such a make-or-break play. You can actually see the red outline on Gabble, on Duckdom, on Peter. Everyone popped, you know, the adaptive force motion from their triple tonic. Everyone was like, this is the moment, right? And so they end up ulting with Kellen to stop the tower from being able to hit anyone. But the problem here is that, you know, Peter does a great job of blocking, gets the charm in, the barrier buys a lot of time, and again, Peter blocking this Mystic shot, and by this point, the tower's back up, there's no wave. They can't really move back in to try and finish off Duckdom. It was great peel by Peter, this duo working so well in unison.
Yeah, DNS last time out, they were definitely kind of slow to start. It felt like especially Peter and even Duckdom, you know, wasn't putting up huge numbers, but they're ready to go right from the beginning, and they played that very well. But as you mentioned, like, it was definitely overforced as the ult comes in, and Clear actually going into this one. There's 4 people in the top lane, and Dudu is in a lot of trouble. Baited 100% as another support gets a kill. Kellen going to pick that one up.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Dudu. Was obviously finding those angles to go in, and Clear nearly did go down, to be fair. But the kill goes to Kellen, so not ideal. And in the trade, DNS are going to get plates on their Yunara, which is great. And also picking up a dragon. So not too many complaints for them, I feel like, in this trade. You see the replay, and this one was definitely a little bit close. You know, nearly actually took a tower hit there as well. That would have certainly been his death.
Yeah. As we got Chaos in the bottom lane. Big knockup, and now Duckdom super low. They overextend for this, and BNK will gladly pick up that kill onto Duckdom. Maybe just overstaying a little bit and not expecting them to return to the bot lane.
Yeah, end up getting punished there. So BNK FearX finding some good picks as they're moving about the map. The game's still feeling very even at this point.
I feel like people keep getting caught on wards. Like, the vision play in this game has been kind of all over the place in terms of not clearing vision and backing on it.
Oh, Dudu has Eclipse now as well, so this top matchup getting very scary.
Yeah, he's even proxying. I mean, he's putting on the pressure. Absolutely. He's not even that far behind in terms of gold, but as you mentioned, that item completion is going to make things really difficult. As we got the Diablo stripe. A little bit for Raptor there as well. Very even with Pioshik, at least, in terms of the gold.
Well, you see the mid lane is finishing boots, so Close has gone for the upgraded Sork shoes, but actually it's the Azir on the upgraded Merc treads. Yeah, they were just super overextended here. deep behind the tower, not really a way of getting out, especially as they have no sums in the bot lane. Used them all in that previous play.
Yeah, Pioshik had Paranoia, but I don't think it saves Duckdom anyway, unless he presses it like as they're going too far, but I think that's just an overcommittal.
I think it's just better to get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting that we did end up getting the upgraded Mercs from Vikla, because there's not that much magic damage here. There's not, I mean, I guess maybe like the Rakan Charm, or the... I just don't see that many situations you're getting feared by the Nocturne, so... and the change is basically... Oh.
All right, trying to go in here. Closer does take a big chunk, but he's okay.
The change is basically if you do build health, you can sort of either have the same or more value from the boots, but if you're not building any health, it's going to be weaker than it was before.
Yeah.
Because it's bonus health now, so... I was having some struggles into closer in the lane though, so maybe just wanted to have some help with that.
Yeah. Supreme safety from Vikla. Could have gone for a different kind of defensive boot, but elected not to. As
could have gone offensive.
Yeah, he could have done that as well. But yeah, things have kind of slowed down. It is a Infernal Soul, as Kellen is just saying hello. He has been the master, the king of stopping everybody's backs in this game.
I feel like he's just trolling at this point. Not trolling in like he's playing badly, trolling in like just trolling his opponents. Like the little jump over the wall with the blast cone, stun them, and then magical journey away. It's just such goofy behavior, and it's so funny to see. Like, what are you supposed to do as closer there? You're just getting pranked.
Yeah. There's really nothing you can do except that your back is going to be delayed. We do have a little bit of focus here on the Rift Heralds. Pioshik starting it up, but it is on Vision. So now BNK moving over and will attempt to fight this. Now DNS, they got to be the ones to pull the trigger with the combo. Who are they going to go for as the smite comes down and they just get it? And now they're just going to go on in. As looking for the Azir. Vikla is just so dead. Just isolated and totally pulled apart. Although Diablo does have a nice angle here. They've lost their entire front line. Now Clear's trying to get in there with the Between Worlds. Is going to kind of slow everybody down, do a bit of damage. Re-engage comes in from Peter, but Diablo still going forward. He's into the team and just dies. Accepts his death as well, I suppose. Clear is left alone, and there's nothing that he can do now, but a big overextension for BNK, and DNS are controlling the pace of this whole game now.
So much more coordinated and so much cleaner from DNS there. BNK FearX very split in the fight. And ultimately, Raptor and Vikla, if you're isolated on the side against a Nocturne composition, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, Clear gets his initial engage on the Jarvan, they explode the Azir, and then although Raptor gets a lot of value here, he is just going to die. We end up seeing, you know, low health bars. They still have Clear's ult. They're like, we want to make something more, but Diablo makes a critical error here. Peter goes in, so he flashes out, but then he arcane shifts in almost immediately, and Judo dives in for him. Actually, sorry, I said it was Dudu who got the ult on a Raptor, obviously, but Dudu played this fight so well. Really good fight from him.
You're a Dudu.
You're a Dudu.
I mean, they tried to ban out his Cassante, his Gwen, and they prio-picked him the Ambessa. They banned enough stuff, and they said, this guy will carry us, and so far, I mean, he's doing really well. The whole team's doing really well at this point. They picked up the Infernal Drake on top of it all. I mean, at least BNK are able to trade a turret, but this is kind of one of those moments, it feels like in today's meta, in like the nowadays meta, where it's like the game is just broken so far open. As I'm going to have to hold that thought as maybe Raptor gets caught, but no, he just flag and drags away. But yeah, one big fight and a big overextension from BNK means that DNS are just going to control all of these Infernal Drakes for the next 10 or so minutes.
Yeah, it's so difficult at this deficit. And against a composition like DNS's, when they have this lead disadvantage, it just becomes so threatening because, you know, we talked earlier about how if they were behind from the lanes, which we expected, right? You know, bot was behind, top wasn't. If they were behind, if they'd punished the Orianna, it could really be a struggle, right? You go in with your combo, maybe don't even kill someone, or even if you do, you just get blown up by everyone else. But now, you're in a position where you have so much gas left in the tank after that initial combo, right? Dokdam is really strong. He's getting his items together. Dudu is fully online. you're easily capable of just exploding someone on the side of BNK FearX, and then it's a 5v4 when BNK FearX are already at a gold disadvantage. That makes it so hard to fight out from. So it's a hard position to be in right now. And I think BNK FearX, I mean, slowing the game down a bit now definitely would make sense when they are this much of a deficit pre-20 minutes. And looking at those dragon fights, seeing if they can catch out either Closer or Duck Down.
Well, BNK, not one to slow it down very often, as Dudu's going in, kind of utilizing that to try to get away, and he does dash to safety! In comes Peter and Pioshik, but they're going to get stunned up for a very long time. Going into stasis, Pioshik gets Diablo, and they still get that shockwave off, and now the Unara is just going insane. And BNK, they just couldn't help themselves. They had to try to go for the pick on the Fed Ambessa, and it's not going to pay off. As now DNS, I mean, all the gold is going on the carries as well. I mean, they're just getting everything here. And the game, I don't know, man, this is totally blown open. Clear wasn't even there.
Yep, they went for a desperate play, and they just didn't have the damage to finish off the Ambessa in that situation. But to be honest, even if they had, they would pay so heavily in return, because it just took so long. And again, you're against a Nocturne. The Nocturne's always going to fly in there when you're this far ahead. You have to be so quick, so precise with these picks.
All right, well, second try here. I think maybe this one works as the Nocturne. I mean, Pioshik is coming up. He does have very low cooldown on that ult, and they're trying their best to take out Dudu, but it's not working. Even the red buff getting to work, as now we got TPs coming in. 5 seconds on the Paranoia, and wow, they got baited into it again. Clear's gonna go down, and Dudu picks up the kill. And
I mean, that's the point where it just feels so hard to come back from. And look at this!
Yeah.
Look, just walks up to Diamond and just slams him down. You know, the first play felt really bad. The follow-up, it's not even the actual impact of how much that cost your team. It just, I feel like the mental will shatter from that. You kind of just accept, we're kind of out of this one. You know, they go for Dudu here. Dudu engages onto the Ezreal, buys so much time. The peel comes in from Peter, who charms everyone. And then the Bartle buys time, but it doesn't change the fate of your AD carry.
Yeah.
The rest of the team's now there to clean up, and they only get the Nocturne out of this. And you know what? You know what the response is? Let's do it again.
Try again. Yeah, maybe they didn't expect Pioshik to be right there with Paranoia up again. But Ultimate Hunter stacks, he's got the Hex Plate done.
Also Home Guards. Home Guards just mean people get there so quickly. You can see Pioshik run out of the base, speedy, with the little, you know, the golden trail.
Yeah.
And now, I just don't think you can contest this dragon at all. You just have to give it up. I mean, I'm certain, I am 100% certain that BNK FearX will try and contest this dragon. And
you know them very well.
I'm just as certain that they'll lose it. But I don't think you can.
We've seen some games where it's a kind of a bad soul, and the team that's ahead isn't able to really push their lead, but BNK, they tried to push their lead, or they tried to come back very early on, even before the Drake was up, and it has come back to bite them, and now they can't even fight for the Drakes. And if it were Chemtech Soul or something, maybe you say, okay, we can give it up, we can try to play for the late game, but that's not going to happen. On top of the fact that they're 7,000 gold behind. Yes, it's more difficult to end games nowadays, but this is almost a insurmountable lead. So just waiting for the Infernal Drake to spawn is Pioshik. He'll pick it up. And BNK looks like they'll try to fight for the soul fight in 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good call. I guess I was too certain of BNK FearX and was wrong, but you know, maybe if they didn't go for the crazy bot plays, they could have fought Dragon. That's
probably what they would have done, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that would have been possible. Now, though, they're setting up mid, but they don't really have a wave.
Yeah, they're trying to, like, squeeze gold out of washcloth or something. Like, they're desperately trying to get this mid turret.
Dude is in that brush, and he is so scary right now.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they have good info on this either.
I mean,
obviously they don't. He's just dead. And now the combo comes in. The Mystic Ship is already done. He's gonna flash over the wall as Peter does go down. But I think the gold lead is just too much. Everybody blowing their summoners, trying to get away from this one. But still, 2 of them will fall. As DNS say, you're not even clearing vision. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, could have been a lot worse for BNK FearX. The fact that Diablo's able to get over the wall really saves him. But look how many summoners were burnt there.
Yeah.
You know, Vikla, it's a good stasis, but against a Rakan, he just stands on top of you. The double shockwave comes in. Diablo manages to get away, but, you know, take stock of this. So we get the Rakan flash that gets burned. We get Dudu's flash that gets burned. And then on the other side, you know, we have Clear's flash, Raptor's flash, Diablo's flash, right? And I think the fact that, you know, Diablo's flash is down, obviously he's an Ezreal as an Arcane Shift, but he is definitely going to be a target they're looking for.
Yes, it's very difficult because there's a lot of stuff to dodge. You got to dodge the very easy to commit combo from the Orianna Nocturne, but also the Rakan. Not to mention if you're out of position and Mbessa finds you, like, God forbid, I mean, you're just dead. If you have to Arcane Shift early, you just kind of die. Like, DNS are that far ahead, and they have the gold on everybody. Look at the kills on their side. The three, or rather the four champions that deal damage, all of them got 3 kills. And Raptor's just dead. Yeah. He doesn't have his flash. They're still going to go in for this one as trying to get Kellen's flash, perhaps. They're not going to. As Closer says, no, I'll just kill him instead. That feels pretty good. Trying their best to take down the scraps of DNS, but it's not really happening. In goes Vikla trying to make some kind of play. Just gets charmed and goes golden. And DNS say, okay, well, if you want to lose now, we can end the game now if you'd like, instead of going for the Baron. And they'll do just that. They're going to ace BNK. And, well, they don't have a wave, so I guess they're just going to go do Baron instead.
Yeah, I mean, BNK FearX are trying, okay? They're trying to find something. They are not succeeding, and DNS are just absolutely brutalizing them at this point. Yeah, Raptor just made the mistake of existing in the face of DNS. And he's like, I'm a Jarvan, I'm safe. And he just kind of gets dove on. And then I think, you know, maybe Kellen was like, I'm safe here. The shockwave doesn't even actually hit him. He just died before it. And then they're trying to go for a re-engage, but you're already 2 people down. I think at this point, BNK FearX have kind of checked out of this game. And are thinking about game 2. You know, it is a best of 5. But I think their chances on this one are just, it's just gone.
It's very BNK-esque where, you know, even from behind, they're still going to beat their heads against the wall and just try to make something out of nothing. Instead of just accepting their eventual defeat. Just 10 minutes from now, they're just kind of like, okay, well,
oh my, look at the 80 carry item difference. Remember, Ezreal 1 lane.
Yeah. Yeah, 4-2, basically.
Diablo's just got 2 red rocks to rub together. Yeah, that's some items for the Inara. That is, yeah, definitely some items.
Yeah, including a full Infinity Edge.
And I think, you know, obviously is Fearless. I think getting Vikla's Azir game 1, you know, Diablo and Ezreal, like even like picks like Bard as well. These are like high budget Fearless picks.
Yeah.
Losing on these does not feel good. Does not set the series off to a good tone. So
it definitely does not. And you know, when we looked at the draft, we expected BNK to have a much stronger early game, and obviously not to have such a incredible downfall at the Rift Heralds. But just based on the way it was played out and the fact that they did not stick together and Vikla was all by his lonesome just dying to Orianna Nocturne, like, you're not going to win fights like that no matter what the draft.
Yeah.
So DNS, they look like a well-oiled machine, and BNK, it looks like they just kind of got out of bed. So not the best start for them.
13,000 gold lead. Not often you come back from this point. It happens, but not often.
Well, they're just going to send it, and you do see that, yeah, he's not getting out of this one. Diablo's going to go down, and so will Vikla. They're just trying their best, but they're too far behind. Clear is also going to get flashed on, as they'll give another kill, a Quadra, actually, over to them, as Kellen says, you know what? I'll give you the Penta. I'll give you the Penta. And now he's kind of running. I don't know. They're trying to... Okay, there it is. The Penta kill comes in. And Duckdom will pick it up. A absolute domination here from DNS in game 1.
Yeah, kind of gifted the Penta at the end, you know, but definitely a big morale boost to get that one in the first game of the series. And especially, you think about the Preds, yes, no one thought this would be, well, I mean, some people did, but a lot of people thought this wouldn't be a clean series. But everyone from our side and the Korean side thought it'd be a BNK BFX victory. And this is a strong start for the underdogs.
It was just so one-sided.
And you know what? It was the battle of the years, and it's feeling like it's the year of doo-doo.
You know, you and we've been on this page for a long time. Since it feels like, I think it was the first day where I was like, you know what, Austin's the year of doo-doo.
He's just been popping up. You know,
이제 여기선 봐도 돼. 여기 방금 봐도 돼. 나 위치 봐. 봐도 돼. 이제 볼게 이제. 이제 공포. 다 잡아 그냥. 이겼어. 야 펜타 줘. 그냥 펜타야? 펜타 해봐. 야 죽여 뺏어. 야 죽이자. 켈린형 달라 그래. 기다. 먹여줘. 나 힐 5초. 이속. 더블 3초. 나이스. 바텀. 야 여기 쓰자 여기. 라인 하자. 바텀 하자. 내일이온 내 마음 맞지 나. 고마워. 야 나도 말은 이렇게 했어도 안 쳤다. 팀워크 좋다잉. 야 동주가 진짜 잘했다 이 판. 한 판 잘해보자. 다음 판 잘하자.